Hey everyone. I wanted to preface this video by giving a quick shout out to Karsten Runquist. A lot of the inspiration from this series draws from his What I Watched This Month series, in which he talks about all of the films and TV shows that he watches that month. If you like film at all, I sincerely recommend you go check it out. I'll leave it in the description. But I wanted to kind of change it up a little bit and talk distinctly about all of the music that I listened to this month. So anyways, here's what I listened to in September. I started this month off by listening to the 2023 album Shelter by Alice Phoebe Lou. Honestly, didn't listen to a lot of new stuff to me this month. I mostly re-listened to projects that I really enjoy, but a friend of mine put me onto their song Open My Door, which I really enjoyed, so I decided to check out this full album. I had no idea who Alice Phoebe Lou was before this, and I'm really excited I know who they are now. I seriously enjoyed this project. Tracks like Angel, Hammer, or the previously mentioned Open My Door are absolutely beautiful slow songs with gorgeous instrumentation and fantastic lyricism, while songs like Lose My Head, Shelter, and Halo are more fast-paced and make me feel like I'm running in an open field on a beautiful summer day. I seriously recommend this project, and we'll be listening to this and more Alice Phoebe Lou as time goes on. Next up, I re-listened to practically the entire Blood Orange catalog this month. I don't want to get into a direct discussion about every single Blood Orange project right now because that may come in another separate video entirely, but all I will say is that Deb Hines is one of the greatest producers in the 2010s and onwards, and deserves far more recognition for the innovation and emotional depth he brings to each project and brings to all of the things that he will produce and just do from an artistic standpoint. He is and will continue to be one of my favorite artists, and I'm really excited to see more people learn about how truly good he is as an artist. I need a new project. Please, Deb Hines, please Blood Orange, please release a new project because I will love it. I will love it so dearly. Another album I revisited this month was Simple by IDK. This is one of my favorite albums of 2022, but I hadn't fully listened to it in a while until I decided to go back to it after hearing the track Dog Food randomly one day. Happy to say that it's still just as good as I remembered it to be, and honestly might even be better than I remembered it being after listening to the album again. It's a really short album that might be better called an EP as it's only 18 minutes, but it's a seriously complete project with some fantastic songs. I absolutely love the production of this album, and it's no wonder why, because it's produced entirely by Kate Trinata. It's just one of those albums that make me feel so good after listening to it. I enjoy every song on the album, and I'm so happy that I went back to it because I feel like it's going to be one of those albums that I consistently keep going back to. I re-listened to Control by SZA for like the 1 millionth time this month. When the leaves start to fall in early autumn and the air starts to cool down, I always seem to go back to this project. This is one of my favorite albums of all time, and in my opinion, it is a top 5 R&B album of all time and has absolutely no skips. Each track has its own unique energy, but together they form this cohesive experience that I don't feel with many albums. This album has grown with me. Over the years, as I've changed as a person, I feel this album changes with me. Every re-listen, I end up obsessing over a new track or learning something new about certain songs that I hadn't caught before. This re-listen, the track that stood out to me the most was Pretty Little Birds featuring Isaiah Rashad. I just feel like I'm floating the entire time, not just with that song, but with the entire album in general. Definitely one of those timeless projects that hits all the right notes for me, no matter how many times I go back to it. You ever know when something happens and you realize you are immediately going to change your entire personality because of it? This is what happened to me when Charm by Clairo came out. I re-listened to this album about 20 times or so this month, and I am absolutely obsessed with it. I love basically everything about this album. The instrumentation and production by Leon Michaels and Clairo herself are just so fun and hit for me personally, and the lyricism is so elegant and relatable. It's difficult for me to fully convey how much I enjoy this album, and even when writing this right now, I just can't think of anything else to say other than the fact that Clairo charmed me. I may make an entire video as to why I love this album in the near future, but in the meantime, check out Elliot Roberts' video on this album. They do a way better job than I do at properly explaining what makes this album so good. I'll leave the link in the description. Another album I re-listened to like 20 times or so this month was 2 Star and the Dream Police by McGee. I mean, what else is there to really say about this album that hasn't been said by what seems like everyone at this point? McGee seemed to come out of absolutely nowhere to release one of the greatest projects of the year and, in my opinion, the decade so far. In reality, the New Jersey native has been in the scene for a long time, most notably being the main guitarist on Dijon's 2021 album Absolutely, an album that has really grown on me since it's released, and especially after hearing this album. McGee is so unique in the way he plays guitar. It seems just about every guitar nerd is absolutely blown away by how talented he is. You don't need to be a nerd to understand how amazing McGee is, though. This album is just so good. It's extremely technical, yet so catchy at the same time, which I can't really pinpoint another album that's really like this in the modern era. It's kind of been oversaid at this point, but there's a reason for it. This album feels so familiar, yet something so foreign at the same time. I think the thing that makes this album so intriguing to me is the fact that it's not perfect. There's still room for improvement in my opinion, and if McGee is able to improve upon these things, I think we're potentially seeing the face of a new generation of music, which is so exciting. I've never listened to anything like this before in my life, and suddenly I just want all music to sound like it. McGee, keep on screaming. Yeah, I went on a little bit of a Tiny Desk kick this month, and the concert that really kicked this off for me was the new Remy Wolf Tiny Desk. I just love this. I am totally possessed with Wolf's energy. She is an absolutely infectious performer, and this new Tiny Desk has instantly become one of my favorites. She has an incredible vocal range and is able to hit basically every note possible, it seems like. Her performances of Toro and Sexy Villain in particular were the highlights of this for me. Wolf is just so uniquely herself, and I can't help but love it. Another Tiny Desk that features Remy Wolf was the Kenny Beats Tiny Desk from 2023 that I re-listened to. This is such a unique Tiny Desk. Seeing a producer host a Tiny Desk is something that doesn't happen much, and in my opinion, if there was any producer who should get the honor of performing one, it is Kenny Beats. This Tiny Desk, a performance of songs from his album Louie, is another one of my favorite Tiny Desk concerts. Seeing a Tiny Desk where it goes from JPEG Mafia to Remy Wolf feels like a concert that was made just for me. If you haven't watched this one, I seriously recommend checking this one out and listening to Louie. It's a great album that really encapsulates the feeling of family and love. Finally, the last Tiny Desk I listened to this month was a re-listen of Jordan Ward's Tiny Desk. If you know me, you know how much I enjoyed Jordan Ward's 2023 debut album Forward. I saw him open for Smino and JID on their Love Is Forever tour right after he released the album, and after seeing him live, I knew I needed to check him out. Forward was one of my favorite albums of last year and has been consistently in my rotation since it was released. The Tiny Desk, released almost a year ago, is one of my favorites, and I just love Jordan Ward, man. He's another example of someone with absolutely infectious energy. He just looks like he's having fun the entire time, and I really appreciate that. There's a point in the concert at the beginning when he's introducing himself, and he does this extremely goofy, choreographed routine with his band that just reminds me of how some of my friends and I act sometimes, and that's why I just love it. I'm so excited to see him release more music, as I think he is the future of a male R&B genre that really needs some new faces. It's single time! Here's some singles that I listened to this month that I wanted to give a quick shout out to before we ended the video off. Speaking of Jordan Ward, the St. Louis artist did release some new music with the single called Jealousy with Junie this month. This, like the rest of Jordan Ward's discography, is an extremely catchy tune with a really simple but nice lo-fi beat in the background. I love how Ward's and Junie's voice complement each other on this track. Their song IDK on Forward was one of my favorite tracks on the album for this reason, and I'm really excited for the new EP they intend on releasing as well. Another single I loved this month was Husk by Men I Trust. Men I Trust are back! One of my favorite bands is starting their album rollout with this track, Husk. I'm biased, but I love absolutely everything Men I Trust release.
The incredible bass lines, the absolutely gorgeous and ethereal synths, Emma's angelic voice. I could go on for hours, man. This has been one of my most anticipated albums since Untourable album came out 3 years ago, and I'm just so excited that they're releasing new music again. Another single, and the last single that I wanted to give a quick shout out to, was Crack Era by Maxo Cream, which is featuring and produced by Tyler, the Creator. And it's cool. I'm really happy that Tyler's back as well. It's his first release, his first new verse in a year and a half. And I'm really excited for this. I hope that it's the new album rollout. This is what we start going into now. I think it was a fun track, a lot of different production on this track. And yeah, I like it. It's good. Anything that Tyler makes is going to be good. And that's because I'm extremely biased and I love Tyler the Creator.
If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching this video. This is the first of a hopefully monthly series that I do, and I plan on making a lot more content as well on YouTube when I have breaks. I'm a very busy college student at the moment, but making YouTube videos is something I've always really wanted to try and do, and I've done in the past, but I'm really, really trying to do it more now. So I really hope you all enjoyed this, and leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, please. It really means a lot to me. And even if you have constructive criticism, please leave it for me. I really want to improve upon the content that I'm making. So if you have anything, just please let me know. Hopefully you all have a fantastic rest of your day, rest of your week, rest of your whatever. I hope you just have a great life. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.